Hi, I'm Steve Irsik from western Kansas. I live east of Garden City with my wife out in the country, and we're here today to talk about trees and specifically shelter belts. So I think I picked up my interest in trees from my father and my mother as I was growing up, because it always seemed like we were planting trees, and the whole family looked forward to planting trees. And I think some of it is we were looking forward to the opportunity into the future when these trees would get some size to them and we would have shade and wind protection. So I've been planting trees, Dan, all my life. All the trees that I've planted in these shelter belts have came through the Kansas State Forest Service, and we very much appreciate those folks. They're doing a great service for the state of Kansas in providing these trees. Most of the trees that we've purchased have been the small seedlings, and we've been doing this for 40 years. I was asked to comment on why we're planting these trees. Well, you know, the wind blows, Dan, in western Kansas, and so we're hoping to modify the wind. We're hoping to add some beauty. We're hoping to provide shelter for wildlife, for pheasants, for deer, and we're hoping to slow down these winds. If you've ever been in a blizzard in western Kansas, okay, and the wind's blowing 30 or 40 miles an hour and the snow's heading sideways, it's really nice to get behind a tree. The trees that we've found that work the best in our environment in western Kansas are the eastern red cedar. We've tried other varieties of deciduous trees, but the eastern red cedar does the best job for us. We planted some Austrian pines. We love those trees, but we're concerned about the blight that could be moving west. So primarily the eastern red cedar. Rocky Mountain juniper, we've planted some of those. They're great, but I think the eastern red cedar is superior for western Kansas. I've been asked to comment on how do we plant these trees, some secrets on how to make this all happen, and so I think the number one thing, Dan, is planning. Plan, and plan years in advance with your site, getting your site ready. We think that trees need to be planted in grass or with plastic, and you need to have water, and so you have to get your water sources available, and that could involve drilling a well or laying water lines, but you have to plan into the future. We usually do it in phases. If we're going to have a shelter belt on 3 sides of the house, we might start on phase 1, which would be the north side, then move to the south side, which would be phase 2. And we found that you kind of have to do it in phases so you can handle the workload. If you go out and plant too many of these things, you're gonna kill yourself, and you'll get discouraged, and you won't have anything. And then livestock facilities, we're in the cattle feeding business, we're in the cow-calf business, we're in the dairy business, and so we try to plant trees on the north side of all of our facilities, and that's to slow down the wind and catch the snow, and again provide wildlife habitat. The trees are particularly effective in a range environment or cattle on wheat pasture, where you can bunch these cattle up. When we get a blizzard forecast, okay, first thing we start doing is penning cattle, and we'll put them behind these shelter belts in a big pen and provide feed for them, and so that's an ideal environment. In a feedlot situation, if you put the trees on the north side of your feedlot and you hold a lot of snow out of these pens, okay, and it costs a lot of money to move snow. So anything we can do to help these cattle is good. These trees make life a lot more fun, a lot more interesting.